one time when hindrance comes into play. There we go. Excuse me. Yeah, and can't imagine anybody else has concealment on that side. I forgot to put the fish track. There, I can delete these. Oh, and I didn't put direction. It is north. I think that's it, other than snipers.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to pull my sniper 1 second. I knew I was forgetting something.
I feel like just due to the nature of things, forgetting snipers is a regular event. I will put them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. Alright, so ELR 2, Sand 3. Reversed for you. 24 squads. Ugh. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
We'll see.
Well, there's one. I mean, hopefully you won't do it. Just because I would like to not lose immediately, but there's one way I could see how you could not solve this, but you know, it's made it a little easier.
I probably didn't see it.
We'll see. We'll see. Ground snow in effect, which I don't believe does anything for us, because I think
there's no elevation changes.
Yeah.
I meant to ask, what does that mean about the water?
It might freeze the water. Hold on. Water. Pond, lake, ocean, flourishing. Excuse me. All water obstacles except an ocean freeze in sub-zero temperature scenarios. When frozen water obstacles are treated as open ground for all purposes. Ice is removed from any hex in which original HE. Well, we're not dealing with that. Ice can collapse. That's about it. Wire and unhidden mines are the only fortifications allowed on an ice hex, but that's not the case. So basically, they're just treated as open ground.
Okay, yeah, I'm not entirely sure we'll be seeing those, but that might matter for these.
Yeah, I mean, at worst, what I'll do is, where is terrain? Where else? There. Problem solved. But yeah, I don't think there's anything that can really go crazy with weather, so we should be fine there. And then, yeah, may whoever the dice favors today win.
I'm not as sanguine as you are.
I'm not as lucky, so we'll see. I mean, worst comes to worst, it'll end up like what was it, 2 scenarios ago or whatever, taking a different route, whereas like turn 2, game over. So
Sorry, I'm looking something up. One second.
Yeah, no worries. Probably a good time for me to bring up because I remember I got the message for it. Dark Rocco.
Stick to me
Assume I
like
got
glue,
that right.
and keep your eyes open.
Thank you for the follow.
Rocco's not real. Rocco's a rock.
This is where I'm just gonna devolve into like rock lobster stuff.
All right, sorry about that. Let's see. No other change.
All right.
I have no rally actions.
Same.
I do have prep fire, however.
Uh-oh.
Well, I mean, if I'm gonna suicidally charge, I gotta prep it a little bit. Okay, the medium machine guns in G8 under leader direction will fire at M7.
Okay.
So that is going to be 8. 8 up 1.
Starting off strong.
Nice. So 5 on 8 is a 2MC.
Of course.
And I have rate.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, did not mean to control click that. So we will shift to M8.
Yep.
And that is going to be a flat, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
8 is on NMC.
Pins.
Dang it, Vassal. All right. The squads in G8 and the squads in G7 will fire group on the unit in K9.
Okay.
So they are both at extended range. So that's going to be a 6 up 1, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So 7 on 6 is a normal round.
Passes.
And I believe that is all my prep fire. I think that is the single most effective support weapon fire I have ever done in this game.
Disagree, but I'm not gonna go back through all those tapes.
Yeah. Movement. Sorry, I mean, moving here.
No worries.
This is normal movement. 2.
Okay.
3.
Mm-hmm.
4.
I believe you'll lose concealment. Nope. All right.
5, 6. Pretty sure I'll lose it there. Well, maybe, will I?
I mean, I don't want to string again just because it seems cheap to like constantly.
Okay, yeah, no worries. That's going to be 6.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
3.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Sounds good.
2.
Mm-hmm.
3.
Okay.
4.
Mm-hmm.
2.
Mm-hmm.
4.
Okay.
And now comes the fun. Because this is going to be a dumb move, I'm sure. But anyway, we are going to Human Wave.
Mm-hmm.
All of those guys.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm having a sudden difficulty picking my brain.
What are you looking for?
I'm just debating whether to go, which grain to use.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think we'll go that one. It's probably going to screw me, but hey, there you go. And the target is this X.
Okay.
This is going to be 1.
Yeah, you're good.
I think I can do this too.
Uh,
That's in the F hex, the forward hexes.
I mean, if it says it's an F hex, then sure.
Because this guy, he's pointing that way, so his FXs are those 3. So theoretically, I can move into any of those three. From what I understand, you're basically picking the lines you're going on. So now I'm charging on this particular line
Right.
for this particular time. So that's 2.
Yep.
3.
Mm-hmm.
4.
'Kay.
5.
Pin guy first. It's gonna be a 4 down 2. We're looking at 4 and 4, so 1 MC. Break 1 guy. Guy in V10 is going to drop concealment and shoot at L6, so it's going to be a 4 down 2 as well. 5 on 4 is a 1 MC.
So everybody's got an 8 morale. So 1 MC, you said?
Mm-hmm. Alright, leader, no pin. Leader and both the other guys are fine. And sniper, oh my god. 2. Well, I get to pick. That's not a TEM, so I get to pick. I mean, I'm just gonna pick here because I know there's a good leader in there. So random selection, 5 times.
So the crew, the first crew is what?
Broken. Okay, so that's 1 leader, 1 guy. These guys are going to shoot at L7 as well. That'll be a 4 down 2. 6 on 4, no more morale.
Fail and success.
And lastly, 2, 3, 4. Might as well just shoot L5 with K9. And that's definitely nothing. And there is... Not that it's really going to matter, but just in case. That's it for my shots for that impulse.
Six.
Mm-hmm.
Seven.
N9 drops concealment and will shoot at N6 as a 4 down 2. 8 on 4, nothing. But leaves 2 residual.
Eight.
Alright, so for that stack, okay. 1 on 2 is a 1 KIA. And everybody else breaks.
It doesn't matter.
No, you don't have to. Yes, technically you have to do random selection because you could have multiple people KIA. So, I mean, don't roll doubles, I guess. Or don't roll doubles on your highest. Yeah, so only one dies, and then everybody else breaks. I kind of need to shoot again, so I'm just gonna do these. I'm gonna do these three against N7. So have twice. So it's gonna be 2 from M8. So it's gonna be 6 total. Down to. Oh my god. Okay. Well, 3 on 6 is a K2. So 1 casualty reduction, random selection, and then 2 morale check for everybody. All right. Well, I hate sentinels. So what was that?
So that's 2 casualty reductions and then a morale check for everybody.
Yeah. Well, three times. Sorry, you. It's not 1 check for everybody. Okay, well, let's see how dumb this is. Five, 2. Yeah, so I just literally just send them back. Yeah. So unless it targets, I don't know what your 6 is on.
It's on the leader.
Okay, well, he takes a wound check.
1 die or 2?
1 die. Okay.
He's dead.
Yep.
How many victory points is he worth?
3. I got no other shots, by the way.
Don't need any.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. As part of that. You know what? I'm sorry. I apologize. I fucked that up. I have 2 unbroken units that have to move.
Right. These guys, which they would have been at 7, right? Or
6.
That would have been at 6 to get there. Really? 2, 3, 4, 5. Because you started in the G hex row, yeah?
Yeah. So
Yes,
I went
okay.
from G6 to H5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. So it's 5 to there for that guy as well because they just mirror them 1 hex row down.
Okay, so hold on. We gotta redo a lot. Also, my thing is there.
No, I mean, I guess they just technically stayed. They expended movement, so you just get to shoot at them.
No, so what would happen is, if we want to really play it correctly, and if you want to have your broken guys back here, I mean, sure, I guess, but the idea is that the guys in L6 would have gone into M7. That would have taken them to 8. So everybody else, if you'd gotten to L5 and K5 with the other 2 groups, their last move would have been an M6.
Do I have to move into the hex with the enemy units? Because that's not my target hex.
Yeah, because you have to. At least, unless I'm messing up something with Human Wave, but because the way I understand it is you're constantly getting closer, and even if there's an enemy unit, but it's not your target, you still have to go in if you're adjacent type idea. If a forward location enterable by a Human Wave unit is devoid of armed friendly units and contains an armed known non-destructed enemy unit, the Human Wave unit must move to that location. So essentially, you would have had to go in there, even if it's not the target itself, just because it's part of that direction, and it would have been a forward hex. So, like, I'm fine if you want to roll it back to when your guys were in L5, because, like I said, those 2 squads would have gone into M7, and everybody else would have only had M6 L5. So
No, I'll keep the results because it was my screw up. So yeah, we'll leave it the way it is. Okay.
Well, hold on. So that's a 1 squad and a half. Because what we'll do is easier. Oh, can I not?
No, don't worry about it. Don't try and back it up and redo it. Just we'll move those 2 guys in. We'll move those other guys back 1 hex, and that will count it because that's going to be where they ended up.
Sure.
And we'll just leave it the way it is.
Cool. All right. So that was a move phase. Do you have to?
Defensive fire.
Nothing else possible. Advanced fire phase.
I mean, none. I technically those guys in.
Yeah, they can shoot. Because if you and the reason why you want to do this is unless you're worried about potential sniper checks or whatever, the reason why you would want to do this, at least in your case, is that by shooting at these guys, since they're already broken, they'll casualty reduce. If you roll well enough and I roll poorly enough, getting casualty reductions will kill them outright. You won't be stuck in their hex, and then you could just advance into the next one if you're looking to kill more guys, and then potentially get something in CC.
Okay, so what is it? Is it point blank fire? Are they
So
double?
it's triple point blank because you're in the same location. So it is tripled for both guys. You're at 18, and then halved for being advancing fire. So 9, and it'll be a +3 because everybody gets the benefit of the EM. So
that's a 10 on 9, which
is
is nothing.
Not a 9. Which is a PTC, but yeah, okay.
10 on no. Oh yeah.
10 is a +3.
Yeah, so nothing.
All right. I can take off this and this. Any other shots?
Wait a second. Nope, because I have no one that has the line of sight or is unbroken.
Okay.
Routes. Oh boy. Let's see. I'm gonna start back here because this is the easiest of them.
Technically, he's not forced to route, but yeah.
I mean, he's okay.
Because he's not in open ground. He's in brush, right?
Yeah, but he can't self-rally unless he's in a rally location, right?
No, you can self-rally anywhere. It's just you don't. If you're in the woods or in a building, you get the modifier for it. So if that's what you're looking for, but you wouldn't even be able to get to a woods hex within 6 movement. So
yeah. Okay.
like
Leave that guy goes there.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he can go there because it's not closer to anybody else. Not as far as I can tell.
I believe this hex has to go here.
So the nearest one would be 07.
But I can't do that because I think I can see those guys.
If we string it, yeah, they can. Okay, that sucks.
I have to go 2, 4, 5, 6.
No, you could go N5 if you wanted to, because the wall will give you cover. So you can make it to the woods if you want, or technically you could always low crawl to like M5. It really what's really going to matter is where you want to route your leader, because that will obviously affect rallying.
Well,
Because both of like everybody could make it to P3. If we're looking at anything else, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5. No. Actually, those guys are partisans, so it's a 1. 2, 3, 4. Oh, never mind. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. No, you'd be interdicted through L5. So never mind. I was trying to think of a way to get you to here, but even then, technically, it's
Yeah,
not
these
possible
guys-
because.
I mean, technically, for the leader, it's that guy. Well, no,
Um,
because I can see the guys there. So, yeah, I think everybody's got to go here.
Yeah.
So they can make it flat out. That's 4. The leader, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does he get interdicted here? Because I don't
No,
believe
because the wall.
he's got no hindrance.
I think if the wall hex is part of the hex spine. Hold on. Wall's hex side. If you honest crosses through a road depiction, no. No, you get the wall. So you'll be fine.
So he makes it.
Yeah.
I'm going to nuke the extra counters there, if that's all right.
The DMs, yeah, whatever. I'll take off actually the prefer stuff. And then for L7, they have to route. They have to surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which that sucks because now I have to deal with 2 prisoners. Can I? There's no.
You can kill him.
Yeah, I could kill him.
I mean, you might as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to because I really don't want to deal with prisoners. Hold. One thing I want to check though is because I always forget this: if you're accepting multiple prisoners, if you have to grab them individually or if it's both at the same time. Where is no quarter? A stack of broken units and location surrenders simultaneously and must be accepted or rejected as a stack. Okay, yeah, so I'll reject both.
That's what, 4 more CVP?
Yeah.
Third of the way there.
Yeah, it's definitely a scenario that I mean, I'll have stuff to gripe about once we're done this. That's for sure. Oh, forgot to do this. Yeah, you get to. I'm not sure if you wanted to move some of the guys in G8 to G9 because they're kind of stuck half on, half off. They're on the hex spine instead. And is this guy advancing or he's just sitting there? Cool.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Cool.
CC.
Well, my guys are broken, so I defend at full strength, which is 3. Should be 3. Yeah. There's no ambush because you made it in during the movement phase.
I am lax.
Yeah, but that shouldn't. I don't think it does anything. Ambush, CX. Blah blah blah. Nope. So there's a -2 because you're fighting broken units. So you're at a what? 2-1.
Yep.
Yeah. So 2-1 -2. Oh.
Nothing.
All right. Why am I only thinking of this now? Whatever. Let's say they couldn't. Okay. So that's done. Pins come off. I get 3 squads with reinforcements. Where the hell do I want to put these guys? Yeah, I think that's good. Weather, no change. Rally phase stuff. I can't rally my broken guys. So, you.
Oh, when do the human wave markers come off? I think they come off at end of CC.
End of turn. Yeah. I don't even. I forget to. I forgot to check. I don't even know if they stay marked human wave if they break. Not that it matters right now, but I need to make a note.
Yeah, I just left them there for giggles, basically. Oh, okay. So I think I need to do. So I do units that capable of self rally first, or unit that I pick. No, it's not my turn. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
I will start with P3. So the leader fails. The leader here will help out. So fails. And that's it.
All right.
I think these guys. I think 07 loses DM. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fire. Like, do I even? 2 of 1. It's not really worth it. Dash can't be done if it's all your movement, right? Is under or equal. Okay. K9 is going to. Sorry, I should move that to move face. K9 is going to attempt to dash into M8 through L8.
The still activated machine gun over here will attempt to fire at you.
Okay.
So 4 down 2 with leader, I believe.
With leader, it'd be -3, and it's halved for dash, so 2 down 3. Oof. 1 on 3, pretty sure, yeah, it's KA. Alright. Good talk. There's residual, whatever.
I did get raid as well, so.
Yeah.
Are they marked what, first fire or no?
No. If you have rate, they don't get marked. If you were leaving residual, then yes, they would be marked, but otherwise, Man, I'm just gonna be so insulted if you do have a way to see that guy. V10 is going to normal move to M10 for 1.
I don't. So yeah, you're fine.
Okay, and then we'll continue into. We'll just put him to N9 for 4.
Shouldn't that be? Are stone buildings and buildings too?
Yeah, stone buildings are 2 and walls 1.
Okay. Yeah. No, sorry.
N9 is going to go to N8 for 1. I don't think anybody can see him because of the walls. And then we'll continue to 08 for 3. And then DMs those guys. Off-board guy over here. Assault moves to P2. Not that it really matters, I guess. And then these off-board guys will go 1, 2. None of these guys are good order, so they can't see them. The stack will split. 3. And I'm actually legit worried your machine going to do something, so I'll stop there. Yeah, I think that's it. Defense fire phase.
The machine gun in G8 will fire at M8.
Okay.
Actually, the whole stack will fire.
Okay.
So the 2 squads are going to be halved, so they're going to add 3 to this. So it's going to be a 7.
Up 1.
Up 1? Yeah.
Yep. 8 on 7, normal morale.
8 on 7? No, that's a pen test check.
Oh, well, I mean, we'll just use the morale check for task check, I guess.
That's fine. And that's it.
Okay. No advanced fire phase.
Yeah, I clicked it, so we're on route phase.
Yeah, and then
These guys surrender.
no, because there's no quarter in effect. But they would be eliminated for failure to route because there's no hex they can go to that's not adjacent. Because I would just drop concealment from this guy, which I'll do anyways. And then same thing over here. I drop concealment. There's nowhere for those guys to go. They can't stay adjacent, so then they're all gone.
So let's see. The leader is what?
What's his
0?
So 5. So it's 8 total. 22. Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, I give up.
Yeah. There's something about this scenario which like it's sort of like what's the other? It's like LM-7 resisting the constriction. It also reminds me of taking a different route, which was I think LM-4, where like why when the Red Chinese, or really any side, it doesn't really matter, but in this case like the Red Chinese get 26 squads or whatever, 24 squads, like my dice were nice today, so obviously I have nothing to complain about on that side. The fact that you broke these guys first shot was really fantastic. Getting a sniper to kill your best leader was also kind of BS. But like ultimately, if this is a scenario that makes me go, why even bother splitting up your entire group? As the nationalists, you kind of, I don't want to say you have to split your forces, but like clearly I wanted to have a lot of line of sight cleared. So for example, having the MMG here is specifically so I can look down this hex row, while also being able to check out all this empty space. Um, and meanwhile, like spreading out the forces in just single stacks so that I can, like, if you get close, then or if anybody gets shot and breaks, I'm not losing multiple guys. And it's just kind of like, well, why would you not just do like, um, it's 5 hexes from B3 or B5, sorry. So B5 is here. So if we do map annotations, 5 hexes, B5, that is not centered properly. There we go. So it's like, okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, we'll say. Or like, I don't know, I'm sure on the other side you could do, if you wanted to do it on this side instead, there's a way to get like enough coverage. But the point is just that, like, okay, so you do human wave with 12 hexes of stacked guys, right? And even if you're back here, from the front, you can still get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, jump in for 8. The other guys in the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then jump into K8. So you still have like some distance and whatever. It's not the end of the world for the guys in the back if the guys in the front make it. Obviously, it depends a lot on the front guys making it, but it's kind of like, why wouldn't you just try the Hail Mary at the start? Because what's the point in the red Chinese player saying I'll take it slow, and the KMT player just gets like I don't want to say marginally better over time, but like, is that the way you feel as well for it, or what's your opinion on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of felt like the train was forcing me into human waves, which is kind of annoying because I really fucking hate that.
Mm-hmm.
In hindsight, I probably should have put everybody up here and come this way. The cover is certainly better if I'm taking it slow, or if I want to be deliberate about it, then I want to commit over this way. I don't know. The only way to cover this is a human wave. Like, if you just regular movement, it's not going to do anything. Yeah, go ahead.
So I think the only benefit I could see would be, so you don't do human wave first. Maybe you stack a bunch of guys in like G7 and up here or whatever. Well, you can't get that far up, but whatever. Let's say like you stack a bunch of guys in G8, and then with a leader, you take a bunch of guys and you go like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it's like, okay, well, if you have to shoot, or like you would be trying to force the enemy to shoot, and then that kind of clears the way for human wave. But again, like, it all goes back to human wave. There's no
there's no subtlety about it. Yeah. And I got to be honest. I don't even know how great I would feel about trying to pull off fire. I mean, yeah, you could get up there, but even the human wave is just barely making it to that last hex, and if you try and set it up with something else, like, you're basically just sitting out in the open. And the one thing you've got extra range on me, like,
Yeah. And
so that doesn't help. I mean, it's not a huge advantage, but it is an advantage. I mean, like, these guys could shoot all the way down to the end of my human wave, for example, over there. So yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know, it's kind of funky. I mean, these guys coming up at the north, it's actually a pretty decent force. I've got there's an 8-1 in there and a 10-0, so there's a lot of squads that are going to be coming in from the north. But I mean, the flexibility you have and the fact that all your guys are elites is just like obscene. I mean,
Yeah, it's definitely like this is definitely a scenario that just goes, okay, well, we'll make it like really tough for the KMT player to start with, because if anything in the defense goes wrong, um, then you get overwhelmed, because like even if, let's say, like I hadn't if we'd rolled back, right, and those guys didn't break, um, my guys are now panicking because do I toss people into the melee to defend against that? Even if um, it's a successful defense, like I'm going to be losing guys. Like the fact that you rolled 11 is like is BS. Like the one time you get a 7 on a -2 and you roll an 11 is like, actually what was the I think it was a 7. Yeah. So it's like had it been average, you would have killed both. You could have immediately advanced into the next hex, which causes me way more issues. And it just goes back to like you as the red Chinese player, you have to just like, it kind of feels like you just have to blitz the guy, because if you don't, then how many squads do I get in total?
If you don't, you're just going to get nickel and dime because you can basically put troops wherever I'm weakest, which is what you did.
Yeah,
You
and like
eliminated four squads and a leader by just dropping your reinforcements on them, essentially.
yeah, and which is the problem too, because it's like, you're the red Chinese player, you need to attack, you have to go over open ground, and if any of your guys break, technically the nearest spots will always be terrible in terms of route locations, and even if you could ignore them, you're either you have problems with interdiction. Um, my guys are going to be coming on the south, so you like, even if, let's say, for example, that you'd been able to rally back here, because that would have technically been the closest one. Well, why not have a squad come on, like start off board and double time 1 2 3 4 6, advance, and now I'm right next to you and you're DM'd again, right? Like
Yeah, I think if I had to play this again, I would probably focus on the north side, like coming in from the north map
mm-hmm.
along that. Yes, it makes it a little bit slower, so you're probably going to get at least a turn of reinforcements in before I get up there. I mean, even with a human wave, I can kind of get up on you, but it starts getting a little iffy because the buildings in the woods make the woods not so much, but the buildings over here, it just gets a little, you'll get a little bit crunkly in there. But yeah, like a nice human wave. What's the
Well, so the biggest issue will always be um, the
where was the north one? Was it EE5?
FF4. So here. So yeah,
Yeah, so like a line in here.
like you wouldn't be able to human wave first turn from that because of the distance, but like, and it's quote unquote better to human wave from there, because even if like the greatest thing about it is like, okay, well, let's say you're in this like hex grain. Well, it's definitely not enough to be out of LOS, and every time you move, you're losing hindrance, but at least you have that protection. Whereas like on this side, like you're just kind of boned whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so in hindsight, I probably should have just focused everything up there and just humped it in, like humped the machine guns up undercover. Like you can put your machine guns in this way and just have them move through there, through the
It,
through the woods, because I am faster through the woods. That is a good point. And yeah, the hindrance helps. And if I do need to retreat, if my dudes break,
like they're all near woods and near a building or
yeah,
two, so it's like, but again, and that's what's so weird is like the KMT can have guys out to here. Why is that even a design decision? Because in other scenarios, where you have the potential to both set up in the same hex, this doesn't even allude to it. There's no special rule. There's no nothing. It doesn't even say like you start in close combat, which, I mean, why even bother? Like if you're the defender and I had a guy here, well, is would there even be a point for you to put guys there. If you're not considered in close combat, does that mean that you get a triple point blank fire against whoever's in there, and it's like an automatic kill? It's stuff like that that's like just so very strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the few guys you had out here, I was a little bit surprised, but yeah, I guess it's just a strip concealment or whatever needs to be done to coming in, and that's fine.
Literally
And
just for residual, because I was like, well, if you human wave, like I just want another direction I can potentially
yeah,
shoot from or whatever.
I
But
mean,
like,
this is the buildings here are very obviously the strong point for the defense. I mean, it's pretty much the only defensive terrain on the map, really.
I mean, it's great because the back buildings can't be shot from anywhere else. You're either in this hex line to see it because you can see through the opening in the wall, or you have to be within this little enclave. Which, like, sure, okay, like I get why, like it makes sense that this map would be used, um, but I have problems with like, okay, you can, like, if you're the defender and you ever have anybody set up here, you're what like the red Chinese player is like, all right, thank you. You set up all up in the north. Immediately, human wave, get past all this brush, get into all these nice little places, and if if the KMT player doesn't set up well enough, which like in for a human wave from that direction, I am not set up for that, and like you just regain all your concealment, provided you kill like the whatever one, two, or three squads that are out there. And
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. So yeah, in hindsight, thinking back on it, I kind of set it up quickly this afternoon, so I was very
I mean,
distracted.
it's honestly like there are times where especially in the thread, like I think it was the latest one I posted where I was like, this is like a I did not set up properly or whatever. When I split my, I think it was like a taking a different route where it's like I had all my elites on one side, all my conscripts on another, and I had more open ground to deal with, but like I think it comes down to the same problem of, you split your forces, and one group will just get hunkered down because they're getting shot to shit, and everybody else is like, okay, well, I don't have enough to seize the day type idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could probably do this, but I have a feeling I'm gonna hit the 30 pretty fast. So yeah, I'm not even it's not even worth to keep going.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, this is another four if anything bad happens, and
yeah,
and then it's like, okay, well, I'll just play the waiting game because I have no incentive to move out, and like you not succeeding in getting 30 and in getting 20 CBP is the same as me uh, killing 30, right? Like I have no incentive to move out, so it would just be like 7 turns of me being like, okay, I'm not moving, I'm gonna have all my guys in the back here and then come fight me.
yeah, yeah. And as I said in the thread, these scenarios, like, they're competent. Like, I don't know. There's the rules seem reasonably clear. There's some kind of like some questionable stuff, but they're reasonably good. But they're historically accurate, and that is not necessarily a fun time.
I so I kind of, I'm not sure if I would classify it as competent, and I'm not sure if that's just me being like a dick about it. I kind of just feel like there must have been a different mentality for the people who play tested this, and the style of scenario design at the time, because I cannot for the life of me figure out why you'd have complete open ground and having to deal with 24 squads on one side immediately turn one versus a quarter of that number, and having to with such short distance, and like, and the same kind of applies about like my general gripe of like there's no support weapons. If you'd had a mortar anywhere on the southern part of the board, and you could drop smoke, that would be infinitely better.
Oh
Even
yeah,
even
no,
like like smoke adds one to your movement factors when moving through it, so like it would slow down the human wave. Okay, sure, but like ultimately, who cares? Because the point is that you should have scenario rules or order of battle setups that allow you to do something other than having to literally run face first into the enemy and go, I hope your IFT rules or rolls suck, because there's no like if you stay back and you just shoot at me, it doesn't kill my guys. So objective not accomplished. If you run at me, you're taking -2, -3 shots in open ground with nowhere to route. And to me, that's a failure on and granted, I have never designed a scenario, so maybe it's just like me not having that expertise. But it just seems to me like you're creating a scenario that is extremely punishing for whoever just gets unlucky. Like,
I think there may be three things that I don't know if they explain it, but they could be contributing to this. So the first is the campaign, which we kind of haven't been doing, because that is pretty much losses. That's entirely driven by losses. So you may want to continue playing a game to, even if you've like obviously lost, simply to try and eke out a few more CVP for the campaign game. So, okay, that's a potential motivation there that we're really not planning. Like almost all these scenarios that we've quit, like we probably should have played out to the end just to see who we would have had to if we're really paying attention to the campaign roles, because the casualties matter. Like how many actually die is actually an important thing. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I believe they're going for historical verisimilitude, So these are obviously based on historical fights. I don't know enough about this particular period in Chinese Civil War history, Chinese Civil War at all, to know, like, what did the Reds do? Did the Reds charge from both places and get slaughtered in a human wave? Did they try and infiltrate through the the snow-covered orchards to the north and into the, like, what was the actual historical situation and fight that they're trying to um, to mimic? Because that's what they're very obviously, I mean, there's no doubt that they're mimicking specific battles and things like that, but it seems the units are too specific for it. The fact that we've got historical documentation, so somebody got pulled out a book or two and read up on these fights. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like they may be assuming some level of familiarity with that history, where like the Red Chinese player is not going to do that because they're going for the historical, or they're using the historical actions to inform themselves. So they know, no, I'm not going to human wave it across the snowy fields to the south. I'm going to come in from the north and sneak through the out of season orchards, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's that, and then yeah, I mean they probably are not play tested very well. I mean, I can see them playing through these a couple times just to kind of make sure things reasonably move reasonably well. Because it's a limited audience and they may just not have given a shit. Like at least there's no type. When I say competent, I mean like there's not a ton of typos. It's pretty obvious what the units are. They're not making you do wacky things with counters or anything like that. Like it's reasonably professionally put together in that sense.
Yeah, and like I think really the it bears repeating that like I don't know how much this has been play tested, because granted this is purely stats from the Scenario Archive and Roar, which is the record of online archive. I don't know. There's some, I forget what the acronym stands for, but there's a grand total of 6 games that have been played. So it's like you have something that's been produced 20 years ago. I don't know how widely available it is, but Heat of Battle was not like was not some sort of unknown third party producer. I think they still exist today, but I don't think they've produced anything in a long time. And I mean, frankly, like rereading the campaign stuff, if if I think I gave up on doing any of the campaign stuff early on because, like, when you look at it, it's like you got all this, you got the sequence. There's a campaign game information table. It's like how much did you start with, and if you lose X amount of CBP or whatever. But like, it doesn't do anything. Like, there's nothing about this the victory points that you gain that does a thing. You know, the pack wants to be like, the challenge of this pack is very interesting as it presents close in tactical puzzles. This is not the typical 1942 Stalingrad slugfest with fire groups nudging the edge of the fire tables. The scenarios all have their own feel, and there is a lot of tension in each action. I really have to wonder when they say it's not fire groups nudging the edge of the fire tables. Like, are you trying to tell me that the style of play at the time was just big stack, and they just shoot at each other all day, and then whoever breaks first, then you can move? Because it
Well,
doesn't.
here's something that's weird. I was doing a little bit of digging online about human wave attacks, and apparently the human wave rules got a really big revision at some point. Like, they used to be like a paragraph where it was basically like pick a target and move by impulses, and that was essentially the rule.
Okay.
So the big, like, pick your hex green and you can't move further away from it. Like, apparently people used to do all kinds of freaking shenanigans with human wave attacks because you only had to be moving toward your target in some way. Like, there wasn't the whole forward and side and all that fun stuff.
Gotcha.
So I'm wondering if a little more flexibility in that. I mean, I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass here. I'm obviously don't know.
I mean, it's a valid point to bring up. Like, let's be honest here.
But I mean, if you think about it, also, this is a niche topic. I mean, most of the people playing ASL, for better or for worse, they want World War II. They don't give a shit about the other conflicts.
Yeah, and like, I think that's really the sadder part is like, this is a pack that, because of, maybe it's because it's trying to be too historical. Maybe it's trying to do something, too true to life, that like, or maybe ASL just isn't built for this specific conflict. Because then it's just like, okay, well, anybody who picks this up is now going to go like, well, this is bad. Why do I want to play this? Like, no wonder Pacific rules suck or whatever. Or like, no wonder there's, I don't want to play anything, pre Germans in France with the usual, Ubermensch or whatever garbage that exists there, right? And it's kind of like, I'm it's a little strange to me that the rules don't say like, campaign game information table, whoever is behind on say the victory points for the campaign must receive, say, the balance, or if you lose too many men, or if you keep too, like, a lot of people alive. Like, let's say in this instance, I've got all my guys in reinforcements still left, and we decided to play it out just to see like what the end total CBP values are or whatever. Like, well, what if there was something that said that would be ahistorical, sure, but like, what if I get to keep a pair of elite squads for the next scenario? Because then it just makes it more, it gives me more of a reason to maybe save some of my more elite guys for the back, and that then incentivizes the attacking player to maybe attack those guys more frequently. Or for a campaign, it just seems like there could be more there, and maybe I'm just thinking like too deeply into it, and it would ruin the historical aspect of it, which again makes like, not that that's an issue, but it
Yeah, I mean, I think there is some truth to the argument that ASL just doesn't model earlier conflicts all that well. Like, it's not horrible at it, but it's very obviously geared toward a World War II thing where you've got, a squad as a support weapon with dudes around it kind of thing, as opposed to really modeling, like rifle ranges. Like, I have a feeling that my guys would have been shooting at those ranges. I don't know what the hex scale is supposed to be, a couple hundred yards, something like that, right?
it's something like 50 meters or something. I forget what the 40, 50 meters, something like that.
Yeah, so 50 meters, we're looking at, I don't know, we're at
150
like 300,
meters.
400 meters. I mean, that's prime rifle range. Like these guys should be, shooting each
Well,
other willy nilly, right?
it goes to training, and like you can shoot at a target 400 meters away, but it doesn't mean like it's really hard to do so. But I think the I don't know if there's a single. I'm trying to think of a that could work, I guess. Because the other thing I was thinking of, and I'm only thinking of it now, but like, what if you just had half squads? Like, um, what if instead of full squads, like with the fours and threes and whatever, what if they were half squads instead? You still keep counter density by having 24 of whatever on your side of the field, and it just kind of makes it so that um, the firepower values would just be, I don't want to say fairer, but like more representative of maybe earlier conflicts, because like you said, with the counters that integrate support weapons within them, and then not necessarily having that and all that. Like even the partisans get there's
I
two
mean,
three
yeah, I
seconds.
mean, machine guns prior to this are big freaking guns, right? I mean, we're talking like the M1919s that the Americans were jerking around with at the beginning of into World War II, where they're
Mm,
huge MMGs. Like they're not the portable guns that we think of today, like even MG42, like that kind of thing,
mm-hmm.
They're big, gigantic tripod mounted things that have a crew of like six dudes that hump them around, and they don't really move all that much. Like that's what came out of World War One. I mean, yes, you had some stuff like the bars and um, the Shoshaws and things like that started coming out of that, but even that is not all that you know widespread, and it's certainly not the World War II level tactical that you get out of like the Germans and stuff. Like you're not going to see that start developing, I think, until probably Spanish Civil War, maybe. And it's certainly not what you're going to get in the Chinese Civil War. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah, and it just makes me kind of go back to like why why does why does nobody have mortars? Like can't are I guess like I guess the idea is that there's never been they wouldn't have had any or whatever, but I don't know. It's just it's stuff like that with like no smoke, no like in terms of like gameplay, it's like you're just kind of making it worse on any attacker, which is typically been the issue I find in the scenarios we've played is that the attacker's always at a really big disadvantage. Um, it's just
I
kind
mean,
of
I think that's historically accurate to some degree. What I can't figure out is, like I said, I don't know enough about the Chinese Civil War to know. Like, did they do just like, you know, Ura lines, which is what we're basically seeing, or
yeah.
was there some like fire and maneuver type stuff? Like, how were they tactically?
Hmm.
Like, ASL has its own quirks about modeling tactical stuff. I'm not even talking about that. I just like you said, it seems to want us to human wave these guys, and that just seems like you're literally rolling the dicing it.
Yeah.
If the side rolls well, then okay, you're hosed. Half your force is going down, or if the other side rolls poorly, then it's the other way. Oh, Jesus, I got you know 15 squads in my defensive perimeter now. It's kind of an all or nothing bid in the first few turns or whenever the human wave gets launched.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And
it just doesn't feel like there's a lot of depth.
yeah, it's kind of like in certain attacking situations, like, well, I need the human wave as soon as possible because the moment I start losing troops is the moment is when my and any human wave thereafter is just worse and worse and worse. Um, I find it funny because it's like I'm reminded of uh, stuff like this passage from which I'm sure is exists in a bunch of different books, but I definitely remember it on like stuff like Forgotten Weapons or whatever of like Many types of machine guns were also imported during the 1930s. Indeed, China was in several instances the only export customer for some of the more obscure European weapons. If an arms dealer could not sell his wares to the KMT government, he could always try his luck with one of the provincial army commanders. The predominant Chinese light machine gun was the excellent Czechoslovakian ZB-26, imported and copied in large numbers. Other models included the Swiss ZE-70, the Finnish Lati, and the Soviet DP-26. Machine guns were always in short supply, and even the best Chinese forces only had about one-third the allocation per division enjoyed by the Japanese troops, which is obviously later. But, it's kind of like, why would you not include, um, like, if you wanna represent that, then why is there no such thing as, like, you know add more support weapons to attackers or defenders, whatever the case may be, and then just like increase their break number from 11 to 10 or 9 because they're poorly maintained, or you know just not well, um, or used very roughly, or whatever the conditions, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's I think this there's a review up from Stu, who's a prominent um, ASL player on YouTube. He says, agree with the campaign chart as to the number of points, but anyone can simply count up the CBP per side scenarios. Unbalanced, or not taking advantage of the topography? Question mark. This scenario has 3 squads of reinforcements coming on per turn, emphasis, meaning that the Red Chinese will, emphasis, be overcome if they can't score their points early and then fall back, emphasis. The point isn't to hold ground, small group of buildings, but to destroy and capture units and retreat. Use the 2 MMGs for fire lanes to protect your retreating units. I'd suggest a retreat to the open ground side of the map, as fire lanes are worthless through the orchards. My opponent made good headway, but ran into Vassal Dicebot. Again, I think it needs to be really, emphasis, looked at as to what the Reds need to do here. Score 20 points and avoid losing 30 when they are getting outclassed mid-game. They need to retreat after scoring their quick 20. They have the numbers early on with the Commissar rallying everybody. Use that and take the game. I would love to see like what destroying early or whatever is, because like I start with 12, 14, 15, 17. So I don't even start with 20. Like, sure, I guess there's the argument that, you'll make it up. You'll make the rest if I come on here, or if I, come on over here, but it's just you have to kill everybody in the first 2 turns of your actions to then get to retreat or whatever. So I guess if you can swarm from a human wave and get that going and score your 20 points, then you fall back, or honestly, I don't know why you wouldn't just move in here and stick there, because it's all +3 and walls and whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. We're not going to solve it. I think it's just
Probably not. Yeah, well, in any case, I guess we'll move on. Next one, is it this one or is it the one afterwards? I think it might be the next one that's a deluxe board. Oh, it might be 6. No, where's the deluxe board? Is it way further down? Oh, it is. That sucks. Boo. Next one, Race to Lushan Pass. Laoshan. At game end, the site controls 4 locations. Okay, so it's a control place.
Oh, and Jesus.
9 versus 12. You've got
for 9 turns.
Yeah, but I mean, our shit never lasts that long.
Oh, we have to bid.
After choosing sides, both players will make single secret bid. Will move first and possibly gain a pre-game move. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, this one might at least be interesting. Excuse me. The player with the low bid.
So low bid is the defender. it looks like.
No, it's just it's whoever, because you move first depending on the bid you put in. I'm very confused by the thing that says the player with the low bid controls all locations listed in the tactical objective, does not eliminate any squads prior to play. Oh, you eliminate a number of full squads.
That's what you're bidding. How many squads am I going to shoot to be able to be the attacker?
No, I don't think that's it.
Yeah, because it's control over what looks like the middle of the board ish. Yeah, you're looking to control the pass, right?
Yeah, but so after she's supposed to because the way this is written, God, I don't like this at all. Because this is basically just saying you bid, right? Well, the player with the high bid will move first, eliminate a number of full squads equal to their bid before play, and may conduct a pregame move in advance for a number of his squads equal to his bid number. So if I say I bid 6, and you're the low bid with 3 or whatever, like there's no limit, right?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
So then it's just like I eliminate 6 of your squads.
And then the other 6 get to move.
No.
They get an extra turn. They get an extra movement and advance turn prior to the game.
Oh, so God, that's so shittily written. Because I read that as eliminate a number of full squads equal to the bid, whereas like I eliminate your squads, not my own.
No. It's your squads.
Why would you do that then? Why would you say I have 9 squads, and I'm up against 12? I'll bid 3. So now instead of a 3-2, I'm at a 2-1 disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like,
oh sure, yeah, no, I mean, but so let's see. So if whoever's the low bid is essentially the defender, you have to set up in S5 through S7, W6, W7,
Right.
X7, and Y6, right? So you have to set up in the pass, basically. And the other guy is now the attacker. So if I bid none, like say I want to do that, okay, that means you win with a high bid of 1. So assuming you're going, like you've got a little extra on you, right?
yeah, but it's so.
So, I don't know. So you could win with a 1, in which case you'd lose a squad and you'd get to move 1 squad with a leader for, you get a chance to race ahead with that 1 squad, which would then be slaughtered. So I don't know. But if it's a tie, like if we both say no, I don't want to do anything, then KMT gets to move first, and they lose. They can only. Jesus. Let's give them conscripts and then have that those 3 movement effect.
Yeah, you get 1.5. Yay.
But then the Red Army has to double time everybody, so I don't know.
That's not. I feel like it should be reversed, where the Red Army should be half spent, and the KMT are all double timed. Because double time would make it like if you're even close to being like let's assume that you could somehow reach your opponent in the first turn, like you'd be at a horrible disadvantage because you're CX, so you're shitty in CC. Also, you're conscript, so you're like immediately inexperienced / lax and whatever. So like, it's weird to just say like, well, there's a lot of hill terrain, so enjoy it. Board, it might be board 9 or it might be board 6 because I don't think this is the file here is kind of like could be either or.
Looks like it's 9.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah. Anyways,
sorry, I want to look and see where exactly those are.
I
okay, so the reason why is because those are all closer to the south side of the board, so they're closer to the KMT. So they're making me double time, or they're making the Red Chinese double time because they've got to cover about twice the distance.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be silly. Because, yeah, I mean, given the troops involved, it's not like either of us really have a hell of a lot to get rid of. I mean, yes, you have 12 troops, but they're conscripts. So, yeah, huh. Y7, X7, W7, W6, right? And then what? V6, V7.
S5, S6, S7, W6, W7, X7, Y6.
Yeah, ugh, that's a. Ugh.
That's always encouraging. I think I know exactly this scenario. I think I was watching this dude play some of this. It's also winter, or at least
Oh,
I
yay.
think ground snow. Yep, ground snow. So,
Oh, Jesus. So all the elevations cost extra.
boy, that's gonna be great for conscripts.
Yeah, well, we may need the 9 turns just to get in position.
This will probably. I can see why you'd want to like sacrifice some conscripts to be like, I definitely need to be on this tactical point. But
Well, see, that's the thing. You can't be. Because if you bid high, then you're not on the board. You have to come in from off board.
yeah, that's true.
So yeah, and then that means that I get to be on board. I'm actually already there,
So
But
what incentive does the red Chinese player have to bid high?
like none.
I'm
I
gonna
guess.
I'm gonna give I'm gonna I'm gonna kill, which is like your partisan squads are way better. So it's like I'm gonna freely kill my own units, so that you can start at at the defensible locations, which are uphill, and then I have to chase after you.
I mean, the only thing I can think is that you would do it to prevent a tie. If that makes sense. Because if I bid nothing and you bid nothing, then we both have to race. There's a slight advantage to you because you're technically closer, I guess. I don't know.
This is a set of rules that's just like, if this was ever in a tournament scenario or whatever, I'd be like, everybody must like start with the tie rules. Like there's no bidding, you're tied, because the other two are just so garbage. All right, well that's gonna be interesting to try and play.
I'm tempted to say, like, I know the thread doesn't get a huge amount of people in there, but maybe on the Discord or something like that, just have people vote and we add up, how many people vote for each one, and then we say, okay, you lose one squad and the other guy loses nothing, and go from there, or it's a tie.
Yeah, I think definitely if there's more interaction, maybe I'd be more like start a Survey Monkey poll or something and go through there. But I feel like that's for all the griping we've done about the historical attitude or whatever, and that I'm pretty sure board 9 is all open ground from what I remember from the stream that Stu did. Yeah, no, I don't want to do extra work for it.
Or we could, if you just want to randomize it, we could just do like a D6 -3 or D4 -3 or something like that.
Yeah, at worst at worst what we could do is we could just be like, that next week, like we'll pull all the counters, and then next week when we play, I'll just be like, all right, on random.org, I'll put in like a 1 to 3, because like at least you're not, or 0 to 3, and at least that way, like, you know you're not losing too many squads or whatever, and then just like roll it twice. That's probably the only way I would want to do it.
Yeah, that sounds perfectly fine to me. Like I said, we'll just do.
Otherwise, it's like I bid 12. Jumbo, you're gonna lose all your guys. I bid 12. All right, I win.
Well, I mean, technically we'll play the scenario.
I was just talking about like, oh man, what if you could like, carry over squads from the last scenario? What if you could carry over and you'd be like, well, I carried over 3 squads or whatever. At least like now I'm comfortable with bidding higher because I have excess troops that I'm fine with sacrificing or whatever.
Yeah, or if it weren't quite so punitive, you know? Like maybe the troops come in later.
Yeah, something like that. Like, yeah, I don't understand why it'd be eliminate either, or like casualty reduce the number of squads, so at least they're half squads. At least like you keep something from it. But anyways, that'll be an interesting one.
Yep. Well, that will be next week. All right. Thanks. Sorry. The scenario kind of ended so abruptly there,
No,
but
it's not something for you to apologize. This is just it's the way that the scenarios are built, and frankly, it is a testament to the designer and how the there is a big difference between 2002 Heat of Battle and how their scenarios were made and how we in 2022 are playing this. It's not don't guilt yourself over it. I guess that's my point.
well, I will see you next week. I got a little bit of work to do here, and so
Sounds
have a
good.
good night.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. Well, for anybody who stuck around, I hope you enjoyed the discussions that we had over this and the future scenario. We're still gonna keep playing as far as I'm concerned, anyways. Just because there will be future scenarios that will at least be more interesting than what we've seen today, and at least in the next one. Next one doesn't even have any support weapons, for example. Um, but we will come across at least one which will be deluxe hexes, which is going to be fun. And there's at least one amphibious landing, or maybe not amphibious landing so much as like a river crossing or something, but interesting nonetheless. So and it actually has a mortar on it, so go figure. Um, so hopefully people are enjoying the long march, maybe more so than we have as we've been playing them. Um, Stay tuned for, I think it's Chapai Chuck Block, which we're continuing to press through. That one should probably be done next week, if not the week after. And then we've got a very obscure scenario before we dive into the most recent pack. Ironically, oh no, wait, actually, there's From the Cellar. But after From the Cellar, it'll be Hollow Legions, which should be very interesting. So, as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.